Hello folks, today we're here with the Heng Long 116 Pershing RC Tank disassembly and reassembly. I looked on YouTube and I couldn't find a walkthrough how to do any of this, so after my own trial and error, I guess I'll share it with other people so they don't make the same mistakes I did. My tank is airbrushed already, so that's why it looked me a little different, but that's all cosmetic. So let's go ahead and get into the tools you'll need. So the first two items are not required but do help, and the first one of those would be the channel locks, a flashlight, and the required one is a small Phillips head screwdriver that can fit into the holes where the screws are in, a small Allen key, and a container to put the screws into so we don't lose them. So first, what we have to do is, I have multiple views so you can get different angles of what I'm doing, is we'll turn the tank upside down, where you will find 10 holes. I'll show you where they all are with my finger. And you need to remove them all to take the top off from the bottom half. It is fairly simple. All you're doing is just unscrewing it. The ones near the bottom of the tank, which is on the right side of the screen, those two holes, those screws are actually different sizes from the 8 around the perimeter of the tank. I took them out, but I couldn't put them back in because I don't know what happened. But I haven't had any problems not having them in there, so I'm not too worried. You did see me use the channel locks for some of the screws that were too tight. I'll explain more on that why I'm using it. Also, you may need to shake the screws out. Sometimes they don't come out completely. Just be careful that you don't lose them while you're doing this. If you do lose one or two, it's not really a big deal. All they do is hold the two pieces together. So unless you lose like maybe more than half of them, you may have a problem. But if you lose one or two, I wouldn't sweat it too much. And here is just me using the flashlight. This is where the flashlight comes into play because the holes are kind of deep, and it's useful if you think you forget which one has a screw in it or one that's almost out, or etc, etc. So just remove the 10 screws, or in my case the 8 screws, and you will see the top start. You'll be able to remove the top from the bottom. Now we have the top and the bottom half and our screws safely set to the side. You will notice that there's some wires going to the I would say like the computer of the tank, or whatever you call it. I don't think it would be called the computer. But what you want to do is make sure you take a photo of what goes where. Most of the wires are color coded. There's one with black and red, and there's a white and red, and there's one that has a lot of them. I'm not going to specify which ones to remove, but you do need to remove some of them to separate the top half from the bottom half. Even though they're not physically connected, the wires are still intact. So make sure you take a picture so you don't forget where things go. And you may need to pull out the board. I'll call it the board. You have to remove it to remove one of the ones that connects to the turret. You'll see me do it here and just pull it out. And now we have separated the bottom from the top. So we'll just set that to the side. Now I'll show you how to remove the track by removing the drive wheel. This is where the small Allen key comes into play. The drive wheel is pretty much the only part that actually moves on the tank. All the other wheels or the track wheels are independently moving. This is the only part that's actually connected to the motor. So you'll see me pull it out. I lost the washer that goes in mine, but I don't think it's really that big of a deal. But obviously, if you want to keep it the way it is, just remember to replace it, not like I did, I lost it. When you do have the Allen key out, or the Allen screw, you'll see that what is it called again? The drive wheel. The drive wheel comes apart in halves. There are some green circular parts that go in there, but after you take half of it off, you'll be able to take off the track. Losing myself. Now that we have the top and the bottom half removed, you may want to remove the turret, as I did. For in my case, I was painting it, so I wanted it to be easier to paint by removing it. And you'll see there's kind of like a gear in the middle with 2 screws. Yours will have 3, but I broke one of the screws off using a drill. So that's why I recommend using channel locks and a screwdriver. Yours will have 3, but you'll see in mine only have 2, and that's where I'm using the channel locks. I probably should have mentioned this earlier in the video. You probably will need channel locks and a screwdriver, because they torque the screws like crazy at the factory. This black gear thing is the only thing that's holding the turret to the hole, and it turns by the black box to the right of it, which turns the teeth. You don't really have to touch that, but you will need to align the teeth when you put it back in. But right now we're just removing it, so just try not to be too rough with them, because the screw broke kind of easily, and yeah. And I'm just pointing out where the third one would be for you, where it is for you, because I don't have one there, but you will. And that is how we remove the top half of the hole from the turret. This made it a lot easier to paint, and it's just good to know how to disassemble and reassemble it. So that's for that. Now I'm going to show you how to reattach the track. I'm only going to show you on one side because I don't think you need to see it again for the other side. That'd be kind of redundant. What you do is just wrap the track around the road wheels, and then work your way to the drive wheel. Align the teeth of the drive wheel with the gaps in the track. You'll figure it out when you get it aligned, because it'll like click in. There is also a special shape on the inside of one of the halves to make sure that you align it properly without error. The autofocus kind of sucks here because I wasn't really paying attention to the computer. But I do forget to put the other green half. I'm pointing to right now, the other half is not there. I forgot to do it, but I caught myself at the end. But you'll see that what I'm talking about, the teeth go into the gaps between the tracks. And now remember to put the other green half. I think this is what keeps the teeth in the middle, or teeth aligned while it's turning. You want to make sure you get that in there before you put the whole thing on, or else you might have to do it again. You see me kind of labor a little bit. Now we have the other half on it already, and then what we have to do is line it up with like the shape that's inside it. And you'll see that the teeth go into the gaps between the tracks there. That's a better view of it. It is kind of hard to get it centered, so I did use some tweezers to get the screw in, because it's pretty deep, and trying to stick your finger in there doesn't always work. I do know I'm missing a washer. I know because I lost it. I haven't noticed any problems with it, but you do want to make sure this is snug, because I tightened it when I thought it was tight enough, and it actually fell off while I was using the tank. So maybe like when it bottoms out, do a quarter turn, not too much, but you don't want to be having fun and then your drive wheel falls out and you got to go inside and get a Allen key to fix it. So yeah, that's pretty much that. So here we have the bottom of the top, and right here we're going to put the turret back in. The black gear looking thing is what holds it into place, and you have to make sure that aligns with the thing that turns it, the teeth of the black box on the right. I don't know what it's called, but I'm pretty sure someone could fill me in. You want to align it, and you want to make sure you have the right side facing you, the right side, or yeah, the right side of the gear thing, because I put it in backwards, and I thought, and the turret wasn't really working, and it was really loose, so I tried to screw one of the screws with the drill, and I over torqued it because it bottomed out already, and the top broke off. So then after I looked at my photo, I realized it was the wrong side up on the gear. So that's how I broke it. But if you do it wrong, you'll notice, because the turret will have problems turning, if it can even. And that the turret will have a lot of play, because there's a gap if you put it on the wrong way. So that's why I only have 2 right now. And you want to get these very snug. If it is your first time taking your tank apart, it will be very hard to take off, and that is why I use the screws and channel locks. It just gives you a little more control over the turns. It does take longer, but I believe in playing it a little safe after I broke that one. If you really want to use a drill, it's up to you. I mean, the only thing I can do is tell you, really. So this is me turning it. After you do this, you want to turn it upside, or you want to turn it right side up, and jiggle the chassis a bit. To see if the screws are tight enough, because if they're not tight enough, the turret will shake a little bit. I think there's a little play when I did it here, but I fixed it off camera. It looked like it needed to be tightened a little more, so that's why I'm still going. So here we're just putting back the wires to where they were. If you do get lost, just reference your photo, or because I didn't really emphasize it in this video because it's a little hard to see. But check your photos to make sure everything's correct. You do want to test if the turret can turn before you put the halves back together, because it might be loose, or something might be plugged in correctly, and then you want to put it back together and then just have to take it apart again, because I had to do that once before, or I think I lost count how many times I had to do that. Put the main board, or whatever you call it, the computer, back against the way it was. It did come loose on me before, one time. Just the turret wouldn't move, so I was like, oh, I probably forgot to put something in, or I put the wrong thing in. You gotta slide the back on, so you don't, well, if yours isn't pain, it's not really a big deal, but I put some effort into mine. And now pretty much we're just gonna screw the thing back up, test it, and then that'll be the end of the video. So let's go ahead and get to that. So here it is. We're finished. We took it apart, we put it back together. Here's some testing. As you can see, I did not put any of the accessories, like the 50 cal or the parts that go in the turret, because they would probably break if I left them on while I turned it upside down. The nice thing is they're snap fit, so you can put them back and take them off. If you found this video helpful, like, subscribe, do whatever you want. Thanks for watching. Bye.